What do you mean? What do you mean? Nobody. I just ate a oatmeal raisin cookie. I faced it. Uh-oh. I lost my coffee cup. I think I left it outside. Damn it. It was there the whole time. Boop. Straight people like rainbows too. You know, I don't even know what the order of the regular rainbow is because I always just did it that order. I live in my own little world. Straight people like rainbows too. Nobody gets the rainbow. Like nobody should have to pay for land, electricity, or water. It's all the same stuff. Everything I know. Mom's gonna get up soon to go pee. So I thought I'd do a talk quick. Hi, I'm Marge. I'm a Hioka. I'm a contrarian. That means whenever I go into a room and they all agree on how it's gonna be, I interject the opposite view. They hate me for that. I put bureaucrats on blast. I tell the whole world that Washington, D.C. and Hollywood are all overpaid, terrible, terrible actors. Central casting is a very real thing. If you go along to get along, all your wildest dreams will come true. My dreams aren't wild, so I wouldn't go along to get along. You see, I was on the island of Crete, where at one time the mythical gods walked the earth, supposedly, according to some. I walked the same earth, I put my feet in the same waters. And then I went to work and I put on my little shrubberies, my BDUs, my battle dress uniform, and I went out and I got in my truck and I supported that flight line. When we bombed Iraq for no reason, I was in the military. When 9/11 happened, I kept talking about some bullshit that baby Bush was gonna pull. And he did 9/11. He taxied past my shop. I gave him my famous one finger salute because I knew that's the thing that he did to make us go. It's the industrial military complex. and the Go Along, Get Along Brigade that like to swing their little flags and watch the fireworks go poppity boom blam. Makes them feel like a man in their pants. It's why they go around riding Harley Davidsons. Ming ming. 2026, it's hogs on hogs. Look, Ma, it's a hog on a hog. Look, Ma, it's another man that is on a motorcycle instead of doing anything practical for his family. Look, Ma, it's another one. It's another resource hog. I grew up single mom. World don't care about single moms unless it's in a book and the baby's Jesus Christ. But if you meet a little baby born into a single mom, they don't care. They just make a system to pay themselves to say, I care so much. You get it? Agency? All those people that get paid to help you when you are in dire need, they are themselves welfare agencies that are held under the constraints of HR, human resources. You could be a part of our club. No, you don't have to. There's people that get recruited just because who they are. They don't have to fill out applications ever. Ever. All the world is a game. Police officers, they're playing a role of a police officer. People read the job description and say to themselves, I can pretend to do that. Most threats are people that are unbalanced with themselves. Hey, what's up? We go to wars because people are at conflict with themselves. Because frat boys fell for it. Because a bunch of Nepo Nancys watched The Godfather and Scarface. And then they grew up without anybody ever telling them no. They're the yes boys and girls. Or maybe people told them no, but they didn't care because they don't respect people's anonymity. You know what anonymity means? That all these laws, these rules, regulations that the government is putting in place for what? Misappropriate funds? They misappropriate funds. In New Mexico, I lived here 5 years in this town. They already spent 17.8 million on a bus facility, maintenance facility. I tell these people that have lived here their whole lives, I'm like, did you know that place that you pass by, 70 point? Well, they need buses. Did you know there's only 32,000 people in the whole county of Taos and everybody could have a moderately priced car? Because guys that go around and take garbage out of trash cans, they get to drive $120,000 brand spanking new F-250s. You see, I don't care who people are. I don't care what their titles say. I don't care who their fucking families are. I don't care. I'm surrounded by stupid cousins everywhere I go. Oh, you're probably my cousin. You gonna want to do me a favor? No, because that's how family does family in New Mexico. Very opportunistic place. Biggest friend of Jeffrey Epstein, New Mexico. Never forget that. Never not bring that up. I directly know a guy, Daniel. I don't know if he's still around. I asked him one day, I said, you guys, what do you know about Jeffrey Epstein? He's been around forever. And he's like, oh, yeah, girls would come to the park down in Las Cruces and find other girls like, hey, you want to make some money? Come hang out with these guys. You gotta do weird shit with old dudes, but you'll leave with a pocket full of cash. So this is common knowledge from just a guy I was talking to at a park, So if I could find out information like that, it's the money goes to the scumbag. The judicial system is built by trash so they can protect their trash, lecherous friends. And now America's going down the toilet. This 4th of July is America's swan song. Bye to America. The dream is dead. See, because we're China now. And if you understand how the poli-sci is acting class, you'll see that the reins of dominance have been shifted from Biff to whatever that guy is. It's not the big strong white guy that says do as I say, not as I do no more. See, there never should be borders. There never should be borders. There should be bounds in which people have that they can live their life, and then they go outside their bounds and cooperate with everyone else to keep could make things peaceful. You see, I was a central cast member in the last, I guess, I wonder what the history books say happened in Iraq on March 19th, March 20th. See, time change was all funny. I left the 19th and then got there like the 20th, but we flew for like, I don't know, they said we flew 11 hours straight, but I was asleep the whole time until they woke us up to do refueling in the sky. For some reason, you couldn't be asleep. You had to be awake while the airplane, the fuel plane is hooked up to you. And then like I couldn't look out the windows. It was such a weird thing that whole time in Crete. But I got to play tourist too. So I saw directly. I saw directly firsthand where all the money goes, why all the single people have to struggle while so many people become homeless every day. I was a credit card vendor back in 1996. I'd go to college campuses all over California, and here for a bag of M&Ms you can get a credit card. I just tell them if you get the credit card, throw away, don't use it, don't get wrapped up in it, you know. Don't get caught in that game. If you can't afford something, you don't need it. It's what we were taught. So I don't have any credit cards. I've had credit cards. I've had bad credit reports. I've had an 830 credit score. It doesn't matter. It's just a game. But you don't need all that stuff, because if you got the right blood and if you got the right privilege, then you don't need any of it. You can do whatever you want whenever you feel like it, and you don't have to consider anybody else. I live in a place where there's 6,000 people in the town. It's self-renowned for being full of healers and shit. Like Greg Braden lives down in Santa Fe. I guess old girl Julia Roberts lived here for like 20 years, raised all of her kids here. You think the town is any better off because people had good lives here? No. People create their own little bubbles, and then they move their bubble of comfort everywhere they go. But there's so many people uncomfortable on planet Earth now that bubbles are getting popped everywhere. People everywhere are having to live in ways that are beneath them because, and could that happen? And don't you know who they are? And all of the privileges being pulled out from people's feet because, you see, in order to be a secure person, in order to be secure within yourself, you have to be whole within yourself. And that means you don't need external stuff to make you feel better. That even if this is my last cup of coffee, I'd be okay because I remember how good it tastes or it smells, and people they just they don't feel good, so they do something to make themselves feel better, and then they do something else, and then before they know it, their whole life is lived just to do things to make themselves feel better. And if you want to feel good, you got to help people at some point in time in your life to feel better in their position, because there's a lot of people out there, they don't even have access to clean water. Because the man, the agency, all the people that benefit and profit from complying, from being little subservient bitches, they're locking people out. They're going to only make it harder for people to live. And if the people revolt, then the important people will just go live in their bunkers and that are powered by all these data centers. People aren't making that correlation. It's all for the benefit of the few, so a whole lot of people suffer. I have to make myself accountable, so that's why I say things out loud. If I'm going to say something, I better do something to back it up. So I go to the grocery store yesterday, and you could roll over your money. You could like save money, and they'll tell you, do you want to, you have like $15 in cash, you want to use that today? And I'm just gonna let it ride and let it ride, and then I'm gonna see how much I can get for like $100. I'll start low, and then I'm gonna have pop-up karaoke where I'm just gonna like, hey, I'm out here. If anybody is in the area, come out, sing a song, have some fun, make your heart happy, because that's what fun does. And and then I want to have a place made in Taos where people traveling through could just take a shower. You know, the scumbags, the trash heaps, the kids on the skids, all ages. I want this nation to be an all access and open source place, because if you make things more accessible to everybody, then there is no desperation. And then the people that are desperate don't have to feel like they're backed in a corner and do something to harm themselves and others. I have all kinds of ideas to make things better. I got an idea using GIS software. People any day and night, any age, just go pick up garbage for $15 an hour. It'll be a great tool for mental health. How many people can't sleep at night? And Lord knows Taos doesn't want to put in street lights because they're protecting the integrity of the skies or some shit. So, just use that mood light we got 7,000 feet up, because there's garbage everywhere, because there's always people that aren't people. They're the beings that have the brain set to take their garbage and throw it out on the side of the road, because it'll be someone else. Well, pay people. New Mexico has plenty of money. It's not about money. It's about delegation of funds. They've been misappropriating funds for so long that they don't know how to spend it wisely. They waste shit. They should be handing out freaking plastic cards with $500 increments to people. That's how much money New Mexico has. Billions and billions every year. Every single year. The numbers game is just a game. Economics, they're all agencies so the people in it can get paid. Has nothing to do with helping people. I did everything society told me. Don't drink. Okay, I quit drinking. I'm an alcoholic. It wasn't easy. Defend your country. I did that. That was a bullshit lie too. Go to college, get an education. I did that too, and the whole education is bullshit as far as I'm concerned. There's just all these things people told me to do. I did it. I used my life doing that. And I don't use any of that shit that they trained me to do. None of it. Because I take care of mom. She's my primary purpose. So I don't do these videos to pay my bills. I don't have to make commercials and then tell people to go over to where my shit is, where you'll get the real stuff and pay for it. Because you'll get the real stuff here if you're the real deal. But likes attract like, and based on that, I don't get a bunch of subscribers because I don't subscribe to a bunch of things. People like me don't do YouTube videos. I do it as a digital library, as a stamp. So whatever happens in my life, this is a chronicle. This is my side. Let the record reflect. I was talking to people at the market. I said, "How come Taos don't got no miniature golf? Every place I ever lived had a miniature golf. Sacramento had Scandia. And then there's a place on the way to in Fairfield on the way to San Francisco that looked like so much fun, but we never got to go. I think about all the fun that happened inside those fences and those gates, but we never got to go. I did end up going to the Jelly Belly factory tour though. I'd like see we're all living Citizen Kane. If you know what that movie is, we're programmed from when we're little, and then from that point, we got free will to live from our heart or from our ego. All that stuff, that earthly stuff that we can't take with us, or are we going to live from our heart and share whatever you got, even when your God is not? Even when you got not, you going to share your not that you got? Absolutely. Give somebody the last of what you have, and there will always be more for you. And society don't live that way. Society is programmed that the more you have, like you win at the end, and that ain't how things work. Look at all the people. Something I asked myself, like, if people could do whatever they wanted, what would it look like? And then I look at all the 1% a-hole frat boys, the Viagra chompers, the men in charge, and I think about, like, they could do whatever they want and they still want to drop bombs. Not just killing human other beings of this planet, they're just also scarring the earth, which is like that karma is due for a few towns getting wiped out during hurricane season. Like what energy we put out, like, and people keep voting. It's like, why don't people see it's the election system that's the psyop? It's the whole making you believe when the actors are already decided back when Back to the Future was made. It's so been written. It's already been decided who's going to play. And if you go along, you will get all those your earthly desires. And if you don't, I'll get all my other earthly desires. I don't live my life for this planet. I live my life for the afterlife. Everybody told me to put mom in a home. One person didn't. But he got to take care of his parents in the house that they were born in, and he was is like, and I've been having to take care of mom by moving state to state, trying to freaking deal with social security in different states, and it's a nightmare. I try and circumvent, and that's what other people should do too, is do something, find something that you can barter and trade, and that doesn't include your ass, because then we'll just end up back in the same cycles that we're in, people selling their ass because people sell out. I don't have a number. I'm 52 years old. I didn't, even when I was in the military, I talked about what the military was and don't let your kids enlist. And I was listening to the Leo Cub the other day. That dude has so much to grow. That dude has so much grow. Every time I think he's going to hit a plateau and he's like, okay, here's his chance. He could grow up. Whoop! He closes that window. Just becomes more of the system. I feel bad for his kids. I always feel bad for the kids. Kids always deserve better. Kids deserve more than waiting in line at Disneyland. That's what kids deserve. That's a cop out. That's a pop out, dad. pop out, cop out. And I was listening to that guy talk, and he's just cracks me up, man. He talks about his short stint in the Navy, I guess. He enlisted and then got himself kicked out. And the thing that he don't get is if he went through basic training and went through where he got the shots, that he is vaccinated. If he came through at 2021, 2022, 2023, that's why the quick C19er vaccine was so quick to roll out. They've been testing it on military members for over a decade under the guise of anthrax vaccines. I was given 8. I was not under any threat of anthrax. It was a study. I was in a study. I even have my shot record still. So yeah, if you enlist, so yeah, I don't know. I didn't get the same backs as everybody else though. Essentially, they're endocrine inhibitors. They stress people out. They basically short out your endocrine system, which opens you up to sensitivities that this world profits from people having, because all of a sudden people are open and sensitive to, I know things, I hear things like voices. No, it's intuition. It's you're tuned into the no place space. You have no veil, and this is not acceptable for 3D Earth. But now more and more people are becoming woosters, and they're realizing that there's so many things that we can't see that exist that have great potential and forces within them. And yeah, we have free will. Who's resisting it in 2026? I'm even putting on some pounds. Got to work harder to get it off around the gut, but if it bothers me enough, I'll do it. See, people get too comfortable, and when they're comfortable, they nothing changes. That's why in any state, in any town, groups of people that are born and raised and a place is the way it is because that's why it's always been. That's like that town in Big Fish. It's like that town where time just never ever goes anymore, except on people's faces. I look around, man. I see, like people are too young to be as unhealthy as they are. Don't they want to try harder for their? Don't they want to have more fun? Or are they all out of fun? Too many car shows. Like cracks me up. So what's going on in the world? I asked Meta today. I asked it questions about its interpretation of me based on the time I was born. And I ask it through tropical and Vedic also. And here it says, "You are not here to start wars, tropical Aries. You are here to finish cycles and guide safe passage, Ravati Sun. You are not here to be swallowed by depth, tropical Scorpio Moon. You are here to hold the tension of two paths until the fire of purpose makes the choice clear, Vikasha Moon. Your moon is not in charging first, it is in Vapnanya Shakta, an ability to make many fruits manifest after long cultivation. If you and then it asks me questions, and usually I don't go with what it recommends. Because I asked it, like, based on my astrology. Because if everybody did this, they might recognize why they behave the way they do. And I just said, born on this day at this time, how does her story equate to the stories of the mythological? Everyone can do this. It's a trip. How it lines up with the old myths. Aries sun, the sun ram who chooses rescue. If that isn't my personality, I don't know what is. I've been rescuing mom since I was pulled from her womb, and they cut out mom's ovary and took that too, along with me. My twin is an ovary. The flying golden fleece ram sent by the cloud nymph Nepheli to rescue her children Pyrrhix and Helle when they were about to be sacrificed. After the rescue, he was placed amongst the stars as the constellation Aries. Your Aries sun is that same impulse to move first, to break a stalemate, to carry someone, often yourself, out of a burning situation. At 52, living in Taos, that shows up less as charging and more as initiating. Starting the circle, speaking the hard truth, leaving when the place has become a sacrifice. Scorpio moon, Persephone, the one who returns. Mom was born in Cuesta, New Mexico. She was adopted in the 1940s, 50s. We're not real sure exactly about the actual account. I just know what these pieces of paper say, and the people that write on paper lie. Well, we moved here in 2020 and found out she was actually born in Cuesta, who her mother is. I met her nephews, cousins. None of them had done us no favor because the men are weak in New Mexico. And so I brought mom back to where so she could spend the rest of her lives where she was born and not welcome to be raised, so I can teach people to make a system so the baby don't go to an orphanage and support the Epstein class and all that stuff. And I'm ready for a lot of people to be terribly embarrassed because they can't come up with viable solutions to make everyone in their community happy, even if they don't like them. So that's why Persephone, the one who returns, is very apropos for my personality. My moon sits in Scorpio, the sign of descent. The clearest mythical mirror is Persephone, daughter of Zeus and Demeter, who came queen of the underworld after her abduction by Hades. Her myth represents her functions as embodiment of the spring and vegetation that disappears into the earth, stays hidden, and then sprouts again. Scorpio moon does not skim feelings. It goes down, stays a season, learns the terrain. Like Persephone, you likely know what it is to lose a former self, relationships, belief, identities, and to come back with a different authority. People sense that you have been to the underworld and returned with a pomegranate seeds in your pocket. You can hold grief without panic, and you can name what is real. Iona Samarian's descent tells the same arc, stripping away at each gate. The gift does not escape, its sovereignty on both sides of the veil. And then I have a Pisces stellium. That's what makes me fun. No, I think it's my Gemini stuff. Aphrodite and Eros as fish. With Mercury, Venus, and Jupiter all in Pisces, you have the fish story triple underlined. The antitheses were two large Syrian river fish who rescued Aphrodite and Eros when they were fleeing the monster Typhonius. In all versions, they were set amongst the stars as constellation Pisces. That is your Venus and your mind. Love that shapeshifts to survive. Compassion that dives under danger instead of fighting it head on. Pisces also remembers the birth from the sea foam, beauty that emerges after chaos. At the stage of life, it often shows as spiritual practice, art, or the quiet work of holding space for others in Taos. The fish carrying the gods across the river while typhoon wars on the bank. The risk is the myth of dissolving completely. The wisdom is remembering you choose the water to save love, not drowned. I almost drowned when I was 7 years old, 7 years old in Whiskey Town Lake. Mom thought I was screwing around. She was sitting next to her boyfriend being all googly eyed. And all of a sudden, I was standing on a mound of dirt. And then I took a step and there was no dirt. And I almost drowned. I had 4 near-death experiences before I was 15. The first time I was 10 months old, I was baby raped. Second time was that drowning. There's another time. I jumped off a culvert pipe. Mom had to take me to the ER and have X-rays done on my back. So yeah. Gemini, Mars, and Saturn. The Discuri who shared immortality. Gemini is represented by the twins Castor and Pollux, known as Dioscuri. When Castor died because he was mortal, Pollux begged Zeus to give Castor immortality, which is done through united them together in the heavens. Your Mars and Saturn and Gemini give you that twin engine. One part's axe, one part's endures. You have lived through both and mortal effort and a longing for something deathless. Conversation and discipline, relentless, and the long haul commit to the craft. The discouraged spirit split their time between Olympus and Hades. I've been to Crete. Where's that? Someplace in the middle? Which is the perfect image for a Scorpio moon with an Aries sun. You can be in the world and in the depths on the same day, and you have learned to negotiate that trade. These are things that I am. Your story does not map to one heroine, it maps to a sequence. You start like the ram, initiating rescue. You descend like Persephone, losing the spring to find the queen. You survive like the fish, turning into something fluid when the monster comes. You endure like the twins, refusing to let the mortal part die alone, so you bind the two halves together in the sky. That is a myth of the initiator who becomes the guide. At 52, the Aries fire is less about proving and more about protecting the fleece. The wisdom you learn in the underworld so others do not have to bleed for it in the same way. I tell my whole story so nobody does anything I did to end up where I am. Never let anybody you care about enlist. We're poisoned off the bat, and then if we make it through that, your Vedic snapshot, Lagna. Around Mithuna, Gemini, rising for, okay, the exact degree shifts. But the feel is Mercury ruled, curious, hands on, needing to talk and learn to feel alive. My sun, 25 degrees, Mina Pisces Ravati. For Nakshatra, fourth Pada. Said real sun is not Aries at all. It's the last degree of the zodiac. I'm all of the degrees. All wrapped up in a colorful little soul sack. Kayoka, hey! Mom starts raising her head, and then she tells me that lets me know she's got to get up and pee. I think she's still sleeping. Chandra Moon, 25 in Tula, Libra. Vishakra Nakshatra Shatra. This is why Vedic software lists help your Vedic sign as Libra, not Scorpio. The nakshatra lens, where the myth lives. Vedic astrology reads the moon star first because the mind lives there. Nakshatra's deity is Indragnati, the diplomatic pair of the Indras and Agni in one bodies. The Indra, the chief of the gods and transformer. Angi, the pure fire of consciousness. Its symbol is its triumphal arch, the potter's wheel. The forked branch. Shotki is, I can't pronounce these words. Vipanya Shotkis, the power to achieve many and various fruits. This is not the Persephone descent of the tropical Scorpio moon. It's the Vedic story of the fork in the road. Indra gives you the lightning to break through. Agni gives you the tapas to stay at the task. But chakra people are born under a star of purpose. They must choose a direction you commit, and then the arch appears. At 52, you have likely lived the lost battles and triumphant comebacks, theme that it test associates with Vikshakra. The tiger animal and Rashakragana give it a fierce outside edge. You do not fit neatly into institutions. You protect by going first. I was born year of the tiger too. What's up? I fed some fake intelligence by stats and I ran it through and asked it how my placements equate to placements of mythological people that lived before. And if other people do it too, you might see yourself in the stars. Your tropical Aries I am becomes instead real a Pisces I guide. Ravati sun in the end of cycle soul. Not the warrior starting the year, but the shepherd closing it. Pashan's myth is not conquest, it's a safe patronage. He finds lost cattle, protects travelers on the road, and leads the dead gently. That fits a life in Taos at 52 far better than a constant battle cry. Your dharma is nourishment, not dominance. The fish pair also echoes the earlier Greek Pisces myth, but here the fish are not fleeing typhoon. They are carrying wisdom across the ocean of Samsara. The Kumbhaha cluster, Venus and Jupiter and Shem Tabhisha. Both of your benefic planets sit in Aquarius in the nakshatra of Shabananisha, ruled by Vanrara, the Vedic god of cosmic waters and healing. Shabbatism means hundreds physician. This is the healer star, secretive, outreach oriented, often working behind the veil. With Venus, their relationships become a field for healing. With Jupiter, there, your wisdom comes through solitude, system thinking, and unconventional communities. Barry Generational X, Barry, New Mexico. It's funny, in this conversation, I never told this I was in New Mexico. But I asked it one time. I said, "Could you take in data from other conversations?" And it said no, but it can. Sure, it can. It can do whatever I want it to do because I'm the perceiver. Rahu and Danius, Kaitu and Mathurana, the axis you are writing now. Rahu at 22 degrees, Sagittarius sits in Mula, Pravada, Ashanda territory. K2 opposes in Gemini. In Vedic terms, you are in the last year of a 17-year Buddha Mercury Mandasha, about to hand over to K2 Mandasha. Mercury Dasha amplified your Gemini Lagna themes, learning, writing, networking, healing work. K2 coming will pull you toward moksha themes, letting go of the need to explain, more meditation, more pilgrimage, possibly a stripping back of identity. K2 in the first house of Gemini, Lagna holds his classic I am not this persona work. Very aligned with push on, leading the soul onward. I would do this for other people too. Like, send me your stats, I'll run it through and then send you this, and then people could tell me how accurate it is. I just like feedback, but I don't get a lot of feedback and it annoys me. then I don't want to bother. How the Vedic story equates to mythology. Tropical astrology gave you Greek archetypes, the ram, Persephone, the fishing escape. Vedic gives you the function of those same images inside Dharma. Instead of Aries the roamer, you get Mina the guide. Your sun is not Mars ruled fire, it is Jupiter ruled water. In the very end of the zodiac, the myth of the Mishtar avatar, the two saves the that. Instead of Scorpio moon, the underworld queen, you get Tula, moon, the chooser. Vishakra is literally the fourth one. Indra and Agni together give you both the will to strike and discipline to burn clean. The mythic task is not to say in Hades, but to walk through the triumphal arch after you've done the tapas. Your emotional life is about coming to path, then the power comes. Instead of Gemini and Mars as the twins sharing immortality, you get Mithanya Lagna with Shani and Ketu. The Vedic twins are the Ashvins, physic physicians of the gods who ride at dawn. I get up early. I'm ready to go. When I was at Offutt, I lived 12 miles from the base. I would get up, hit the snooze button once, jump out of bed, put on my uniform, feed the dog, let him out, do his business, jump in the car, and be in my shop counting tools at no later than 6:15 a.m. I'm a morning dog. Uh you get hold on, I got to change this song cuz it's going to I already know it's going to make my train of thought derail. Ooh, Nappy Roots. Listen to little Nappy Roots. Life happens quickly. No, that's still no more. That's not it. There's something slower. Okay. In practice, the Vedic lens reframes your life at 52. You're not here to start wars, tropical areas. You're here to finish cycles and guide safe passage. Ravati's son. You're not here to be swallowed by death, tropical Scorpio moon. You are here to hold the tension of two paths until the fire of purpose makes choice clear. Big shock Vishaka moon. Your power is not in charging first, it's in Vinpanya Shakti, the ability to make many fruits and manifest after long cultivation. So that's kind of cool. See, I've been figuring out who I am my whole life. Because my whole life, other people tried to say what and who I was. And I just would just do whatever I can to disprove them. I would take on what people said about me, and then it would quickly come into my knowing that I'm not the person that they say I am. Like they were trying to paint me into being a person that I wasn't. Like when people question my integrity, they're telling me they have none of their own. They talk about 7 billion people. Who counts all the people if they are liars? Build your own community. There's plenty, it doesn't take much. There's all kinds of fun stuff me and mom like to do. I got to rinse out the ice coolers because I like to get bags of ice and then get hydration stuff that's good for people, not soda, crap, sugar. Because people don't even have access to clean water and everybody should. Although I wouldn't drink water out of the tap, I drink good water, ionized water. And then I got this cup for me and mom to drink out of. Nice copper cup. It's alchemy. If you don't take care of your body is not going to hold your soul sack to take care of you. I've been looking for a long time for this peace that I found in me. If I've left to my own devices, I wouldn't have lived to be 52 years old. People like me, they don't. My own father, I told him one time I wanted to get a motorcycle, and he said, people like you shouldn't get motorcycles. People like you die on motorcycles. And then I thought it was a terribly, terribly, terribly sick thing to say, considering a few years later, my sister Jessica got killed. Not mom's daughter, Christy's daughter got killed on a motorcycle. So I got this for 6. Because people, they get the zoomies and they never teach themselves how to slow down. Breathe, go slow. Breathe, go slow. Haste makes waste. And I go outside, I let the dog go out, go potty, do her business, and I hear people racing around everywhere, just zooming around, and I just always have to ask myself, they're racing off to make Taos the best place it can be. Then I hear the sirens, and then I hear, and then it's just like the beast system grows because people can't find peace within themselves. My cousin's gonna send. I have a cousin I never met. She's in her 70s. She's sending Stan Lee some catnip. I don't want to tell him. Where do I find them? I I've been taking mom on adventures. She gets yesterday. We were just sitting here, and she gets this. She starts scrolling, and then she gets antsy, and so I'm like, okay, let's go out and go for a ride. That's why I'm putting $1,000 and thousands and thousands of dollars into this ride. So whenever mom gets antsy, I could just take her out, and she's just as happy as she could be. She's just so happy. She's so grateful. She never has to worry about anything because she knows I'm going to take care of things for her. And I think that everybody that is born in the United States, even if you're not born here, because borders are stupid, that 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 if you come here, that like hospitality should be a thing again. But there's all these outsider stuff and stuff like that, and that don't build community. So first of all, people need to decide, how they'd want to be treated if they're the outsider. Because I haven't been welcome in a lot of places. Not a lot. Ain't nobody having no parades for me. I was thinking the other day, I was like, okay, I took a commercial plane back to Offutt from Virginia Beach. That's how I came back from war. There was like nobody at the airport to pick me. I think somebody, I'm like I couldn't tell you the ride home, and I had gone to war. And then like I got like the weekend off in a day or something, and then I had to go back to work at my regular duty center. But they don't have people, dude. It makes me so sad. These kids that are like this Morocco stuff, dude. Somebody went off to screw and then they died. That's what that shit's about. Like, you got to know what's going on. There's always reading between the line, and it usually has something to do with somebody screwing. Because that's what a lot of military members do while they're away. It's a big thing. It's part of the culture. It's like they're at war and it turns people on, then they just got to cheat on their spouses. It's so weird. I heard about it all the time. And these men were supposed to be my brothers in arms. I'm like, dude, your wife can't trust you. What the fuck you think I'm gonna trust you? You're stupid for that. And the people that they let in the military, all you gotta do is lie. It's not like they did hair strands. I did LSD back in the 80s, and there's no evidence of that. Or if there was, they let me. Maybe they're the ones that sold it to me and then let me in. Maybe I'm the MK Ultra like my brother is. Only I just didn't fall for the program like he did. He fell for the throw your mom away program, and I fell for the you take care of your family program. I love my new toothpaste. I have bagel in my teeth though. There. There's some lady that went to Mexico to have all of her teeth pulled out and have fake ones put back in. That woman is going through like holy hell. Like I guess bone is exposed on the like it's my dad did that. He was 75 years old. That's the last time I talked to him when he was going through that. And then he wished me a happy birthday and he didn't even spell birthday right. And I came back at him with the your illegitimate child thanks you because I found out that I was a bastard. Like my parents were divorced. Like I was their parting gift. That's what I was told. I told that story for years in AA. I was always told that, they went to the judge and the judge said, saw something in between them, like a judge is going to care so much, right? No, you young kids can go work it out. That's what they told me happened. And then they got divorced, but they really had gotten a divorce because I was a little stupid, retarded kid that people would lie to me just because they wanted to see how much I would believe. And then, I mean, I was the scapegoat. My brother, he is the golden boy, makes $250,000 a year. California state bar number 249276. And that dude, when I went and asked him with all the resources and the power at his disposal, and asked him to help me find a place to live for me and mom and my dogs because at the time we had 5 dogs. Mom had Sass and Tucker, Benny, and Artie are still here. Now we just have Luna left. And my brother said, "No, mom's your problem." And I was like, "Well, okay, God, you're all I have because I'm fucked in the world. My credit shit, like it's hard to make money while you can't leave your house because mom's not going to eat. Like it's hard and there's no agency that does anything to make it better. There's no nonprofit that I called that was so eager to help me. There was no church. They all want me to fill out an application and you got to be in this and you got to do this hokey pokey and turn yourself around, and I just quit playing the game. And now God made it possible for us to live real comfortable. It's nice and cool in here. It stayed nice and cool all day yesterday, you know? And if it's not cool enough, then I'll just go get another fan and make it cooler. It's like whatever. It's like going without so much in life. I learned that I can go through pretty much anything. And most people can't. They're not equipped. They're ill-equipped. If shit goes sour, they're not equipped. They don't know how to do. If they can't use their phone to call somebody to get them out of a problem, they're hosed. Anyway, that's why you just gotta. I made myself a little instrument of peace that whenever I see somebody in trouble, then I just help them out. I don't gotta like people. I don't have to have no kind of opinion about people in order to be helpful and useful. You know, it's when people gum things up because they don't think and plan ahead, it makes it harder for other people. Beans. Because now the hybrid, I've been talking about the hybrids for years and how we're hybrids and everybody's a hybrid. And now every people, it don't matter what you are, it matters with what you do with what you are.